Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Ark Valguero. This video is wyvern milking, essentially, and you saw my taming pin there briefly. We'll see it more here in a little bit. This is something that's been done a lot on YouTube, so this is nothing special. I mostly recorded this video because this was the second wyvern I had milked, and I didn't record the first time because typically in Ark, things go terribly awry every time you try to do something. And the game is set up to be pretty punitive, pretty difficult. It punishes the player at every turn. And so I tend not to record things because I'm afraid that I'll just have 30 minutes of me failing. And it gets kind of old. I'll forget that I'm recording and I'll give up on something and then I've got nothing. So I didn't record the first time that I knocked a wyvern out. But since it actually worked really well this time, and part of it is my server settings, part of it is the fact that I'm using S+, and I think even vanilla doors work a little better than they used to now, but S+ definitely helps. Back when I was on Ragnarok, the first few times I tried to milk a wyvern, it just went terribly wrong because back then I had doors that had to be manually opened and closed, and they would, and so I'd fly through one door and then out another gap that the wyvern couldn't fit through. I'd have to try to land my flyer and run around and close the door, and usually the wyvern was out by then and attacking my flyer. So that was always the struggle with single player Ark, but with S+, the doors could be opened and closed automatically, and I don't remember if when I originally started using S+, if you could do this, but anyway, you can set a delay timer. So the way that pin is set up, I have the big door to try to make sure that the wyvern can fit through it, and it can. The smaller door, or I guess it would be a large door, it's a giant or a behemoth door, and then it's a small, or a large door. There we go. Looks like we got somebody on us. Whoops, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. Oh, they're still on the other animals, but so then the smaller door the wyvern can't really fit through, but it closes automatically as soon as I fly through it. The big door has a 5-second delay, and that seems to be enough to where I can kind of keep the wyvern right behind me without being, right in its bite radius. It seems to work anyway. Hey, there we go. There we go. So I'm also, you might say that I'm cheating a little bit because I have this griffin that I brought into Valguero with me, and griffins aren't really native, and that is true. Griffins are definitely my favorite flyer. You can't beat Argentavi, whatever it is, for their utility, carrying things, and having smithy saddles and things like that. But griffins just have a tremendous dive, and you can get across the map really, really fast. And so for this kind of a thing, I don't think you can beat it. That door opens a little slow for my taste. Oh, the dragon's here. And I know a lot of people get caught up on the dragon versus wyvern. I got frozen there a little bit, so that was less than ideal. But so people get caught up on the dragon versus wyvern thing. I've been doing some research, and it's kind of funny because originally there's really no difference. I don't think that there's any legendary creatures in the real world that were ever like part of myth or legend that were called wyverns. I believe at some point somebody, for the sake of coat of arms and heraldry, or whatever you call that, they started describing the two-legged versions as wyverns, and I think that's the only place that's ever really referenced before kind of the fantasy world picked it up and started creating a hard line between dragons and wyverns. So anyway, just a little bit of fun knowledge there. But you saw how that worked. That was a pretty low-level wyvern, and my server settings, I have them set to where the game is less punitive on tranquilizing things. Some things still take a very long time. It just depends on the animal. and what its torpor is, but torpor increases quite a bit faster on my server, and it falls off a little bit slower. Now a giga, you still have to use loads and loads of narcotics on a giga, even on my server settings. So, you know, in the higher level things are the more, um, obviously the harder they are to tame, but usually things are pretty easy to knock out if you've got the right equipment here. It doesn't take you forever and ever and ever. I may have taken the server settings a little too far. It's hard to set Arc right for a single player, I think, because if you set it too easy, like right now, I think that some of the lower level stuff is too easy to knock out. Like that Wyvern is probably too easy to knock out for my tastes. But I tamed a Giga, and it took absolutely forever to knock out. And it was, I think it was a level 17, which I don't consider to be a high level at all, even on this server, which is a low level server. But it is what it is. I'm trying to find the balance for my settings, and sometimes it's hard to do because there's such a wide range of, there's a lot going into the stuff that goes on here. It's a complex game with a lot of complex stuff going on. And so, anyway, but that taming pin works really well for me, it seems, and even if it was harder to knock out the wyverns, I think that would really work. I think I could possibly bring my Tapihara over and tame with it. They're pretty fast. I don't know that it's got enough stamina, and I still don't think it can really get away, because I don't think it's fast enough. Pteranodons are potential. You know, if you had one with some good stamina, I think that might work for the wyvern milk, for knocking out a wyvern. But anyway, it's hard to beat the griffin for sure, for things like that. So anyway, I don't know if my little dragon over here is going to need any more milk, but I'm out. So I thought I would go show my taming pin just to kind of show how it worked. And again, I know that that's been done before. It's not anything special, but I wanted to record this because it did work, and it's rare that I have something in Arc work that well. With that, we're gonna let the castle load here, and I appreciate everybody watching. Take care.